Just waiting for everybody to show up, I guess. Nobody. Yep, nobody yet. Yep. All right. It's not quite 1 yet, so I kind of started the stream about 9-10 minutes early. So we'll see what happens. So today's dish is going to be Asparagus Hungarian, which goes really well with goulash, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now is just browning up the hamburger. Yeah, I'll probably turn that down a bit. Helps if you take the lid off the water bottle before you drink it. On that high. Yeah. Just some rice wine vinegar to deglaze the pan a bit. Olive oil. And tossing the onions. If you ever have to actually touch onions, I definitely recommend washing your hands before, after you're done touching them, because you definitely don't want to touch your face, especially your eyes, after you've touched onions. No. Hold on. That's okay. And the best part is, if nobody ever shows up to this, I still get a good meal out of it. So. Mm. Okay. Oh, there it is. Mm. Da, 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 da. All right. What is that? Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so we got this on already. Might as well just leave that on. All right, so Asparagus Hungarian. It says 2 packages of frozen asparagus spears, half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I got those right there. 2 tablespoons of butter. Got that there. And a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. Got that there. It doesn't say plain breadcrumb. It doesn't really specify whether you should use plain breadcrumbs or Italian breadcrumbs. So I guess whichever one you want. And a cup of sour cream. Which I got right there. This actually has 2 cups in it, but well, it's a 2-cup container, but there's only a cup left in it. Okay, cook asparagus according to package directions and drain. I assume that means a pot of water. Two frozen packages of asparagus spears. Open package and pour frozen asparagus into a saucepan. Well, you know, I was right. I have to separate it here. Frozen asparagus spear. Yay. I'm just waiting for it to fill up now. I assume I know what covered means. Okay. All right. Cook according to package directions. What did the package directions say? It said put it into open package and pour frozen asparagus into a saucepan, cover with water, boil for 3 minutes, drain, and season to taste. I don't know if we're going to do a whole lot of seasoning because once it's cooked, the recipe calls for us to do more things. So we'll see. So it says to boil for 3 minutes, so I guess we bring it to a boil and then start the minute timer. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna go with anyway. My husband and I decided that since I was live streaming this today, that what we would do is just make this our midday meal. Kind of have we'd skip lunch and then just have this, and then probably won't have dinner tonight because, well, we're having this at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably, see, it's 1 o'clock now. This will probably all be done by like 1:30, 2 o'clock. I would ask how you guys are doing, but there's nobody here yet. So, but if you're watching this after it's gone live, feel free to comment what you're having for lunch today. Because I know it's probably not very exciting just watching me sit here looking at a pot of asparagus. I guess I could tell you a little bit about the. I don't know. See, I was gonna say maybe I could tell you a little bit about the book I'm reading, but um, I I just finished The Anvil's Whisper, uh, which I liked. It's not the kind. It's not the type of book I would normally read. Well, let me go get them real quick. Okay, so this is the book that I just finished. The Anvil's Whisper by Jamie Rodriguez, and like I said, it's a good story. I enjoyed it. It's just not what I would normally gravitate towards. It's not really. I want to call it fantasy, but it's not really. Like um there's it's more a spirituality type thing. Like everybody has their gods that they worship, and like um uh where Jordan lives, he's a blacksmith, and everybody kind of coexists. It doesn't really matter what your religion is, or if you have no religion whatsoever. Um, it's fine. Nobody cares, and everybody just kind of respects each other's religions. Like, yeah, you know what? That's not what I believe, but I understand that that's what you believe, and I'm okay with that. Like, Um, and Jordan's best friend Sam, who is blind, he has a different religion than Jordan, and this is again it just kind of Jordan, Catherine, and Sam are basically a very good representation of how people get along in um, their uh, town, um, despite the fact that none of them have the same religion. Catherine's family is from a different religion. Jordan's from a different religion. Sam's from a different religion, but they're all still really good friends. To the point that Catherine and Jordan are actually dating, and um, the um, Jordan feels kind of called away from home to go on this journey, and Sam is willing to go along with him. And throughout this journey, Sam kind of calls in to question his own type of religion because as he's seeing, kind of hard to see, but like again, he's blind. But as he's experiencing this journey with Jordan, he's starting to question his own beliefs because it feels more like what Jordan believes is more true than what Sam believes. Um, I, I gravitate towards fantasy and pirate adventures, and neither one of these are really neither one of these are really prevalent in this book. So that's why I say it's not really something I gravitate towards, but I still enjoyed the story, even though it's kind of like out of my typical reading. Um, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. I enjoyed um, I enjoyed how Sam kind of made his way through the world um, without his eyesight, and he has such a easy manner about him. Like even when things look really bad, and Jordan is like he's apologizing to Sam because he's like, I got you into this mess, and Sam's just like, hey, we're not dead yet. So and that's just a good representation of Sam's attitude in general of no matter how bad it is, it could always be worse. And since it's not worse, it's okay, you know? Um, so that's the book that I just finished. This is the book I've just started. And I actually started this late last night, and I couldn't put it down. If you can see how far I'm through it already, just starting it last night. So last night, my husband's birthday is actually this coming Sunday, but we celebrated it with his family yesterday, um, with his daughter and her husband and kids. And I made the chocolate raspberry mousse, dark chocolate raspberry mousse cake, and I told my uh, stepdaughter and her family, I was like, yes, I have declared that I will never make this again. And my stepdaughter says, and then you repented, right? Because apparently they really liked the, what am I, oh, my, how does this thing work? The asparagus is boiling. Nope, don't boil over. We don't want that. But yeah, they really liked the cake, so we ended up. I now have to make the cake for the grandkids' birthdays as they come, um, which is not terribly unfortunate. It's not a hard cake to make. It's just uh, it's if you're trying to. I have found a way to do it faster, um, but typically it's an all-day cake to make. And then I realized, because you have to make a dark chocolate cake, and then um, you have to make a dark chocolate cake. You have to let that cool completely. Then you have to make a dark chocolate mousse. Let that set and cool completely, and then you put that over the cake. Then you have to make the raspberry mousse and let that cool. When you get the raspberry puree, you have to let the raspberry puree cool down to room temperature before you can incorporate the whipped cream. And then you have to let it set and cool before you put that on top of the chocolate mousse. So yeah, it's an all-day process. But I realized that I was thinking about it all wrong. If I would just make the raspberry mousse. I can make the raspberry mousse first because that's the one that takes the longest. Set it in the fridge, let it set. Uh, make the chocolate mousse, let it set, and then I've got those two setting. And then all I have to do is, while that's setting, make the chocolate cake. Once the chocolate cake is made and it's completely cool, then I can just go ahead and put both of them on at the same time. And I've cut my time basically in half because it only takes like 10 minutes to make the raspberry mousse and about 10 minutes to make the chocolate mousse. 10-20 minutes to make the chocolate mousse. So um, half an hour to 20 minutes to half an hour to make the cake, depending on how big the cake is. Um, so yeah, uh, I can basically get the whole thing done in like 2 or 3 hours instead of all day. Okay, that's 3 minutes. Ugh. Drain it. Yummy. All right. So actually, I'm gonna fill this back up with water because I need to make the noodles for the goulash. I did not realize that goulash was a Hungarian dish. I guess I don't really know what I thought it was, what kind of a dish I thought it was, because I never really thought about it, so to speak. But yeah, apparently it's Hungarian. Salt the devil out of it. All right. All right. Now it says to put it in a casserole dish. Let's see. Arrange in a shallow dish. Okay. It's hot because it just came off the stove, obviously. Let's see. I don't know. Is this shallow enough, you think? I don't know. And nobody's still here. Is there anybody that, like I said, there's nobody in the chat right now, and I'm good with that because, like I said, the best part about this is if nobody shows up, I still get a cool dish to eat. So, but yeah, does anybody else? You guys like asparagus? All right. Let's see. Next, sprinkle with salt and pepper. All right. I'm just kind of mixing the salt and pepper up a little bit real quick. All right. All right. Sprinkled with salt and pepper. Dot with butter. Get in there. Okay. Top with butter. Cover with breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. I kind of feel like this is a one of those recipes that the amount doesn't really matter. Like this is absolutely a measure with your heart type thing. Like you could just sprinkle some salt and pepper in, throw in some butter, you know, and like it would still be good. Let's see. Pour in sour cream gently. Do you know me? I don't do much of anything gently. I know it says pour on gently, but like there's no pouring here. Like it's a gloppy mess. It's not gonna be poured, you know. All right, and then it says bake in a 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I've already got it preheated to 350, so go back over here. We're in there, and my stuff's boiling. And I will forget that that is in there, so let's just go ahead and. All right. Normally you would use like elbow macaroni for goulash, but I'm using penne because that's what I have. I actually usually have a lot of different pastas. I usually keep my pantry stocked with penne, rigatoni, bow tie, spaghetti, fettuccine. Right now what I've got in there is only penne, lasagna noodles, spaghetti noodles, and I think I have some fettuccine noodles in there. Um, but yeah, I usually my husband and I both like a lot of pastas. So um, we try to keep some on hand. I've got to restock the pantry again. So how's everybody's New Year's resolutions coming? Mine are not coming along badly. One of mine was to try and drink three bottles of water a day, and I kind of made it a rule for myself that I can't have any like sodas or juices or anything until I've drank my three waters for the day, which makes me drink less soda because like if I have the option between soda and water, I'm gonna go for soda, just because I like the flavor. Um, but one thing that the experts say is that instead of making an arbitrary goal of, oh, drink more water, be more specific. How much more water do you, or how much more water do you want to drink for the year, or how much water, period, do you want to drink for the year? And there are days when I go and I don't drink any water at all. So I figured, just drinking three bottles of water a day would be a good kind of standard goal. The one thing I'm finding with it is that because of the rule of drinking bottles of water a day before I can drink anything sugary, is that by the time I'm finished with the third bottle of water. I really don't want anything else to drink, even the sugary stuff, just because uh like I'm not I'm not thirsty, first of all, and I'm not thirsty for that particular item in question. Now, I set my alarm for 17 minutes, kind of split the difference between 15 and 20. So I don't have to worry about what's going on in the oven. The timer, great ADHD hack, alarms everywhere for everything. Um, but yeah, so the 3 bottles of water a day thing has been helping. This is actually my second. Uh, I had one for breakfast this morning, plus some of the different foods that I'm eating, and I'm counting my calories as well. My husband wanted a waffle maker. We got a waffle maker, but I'm a big fan of, if you're going to get an appliance or something like a waffle maker, always buy one used and cheap. That way, if it's you can kind of gauge how well you're going to use it, and if you're not going to use it, then whatever. Then you haven't spent that much money on it, and you can get rid of it, and you don't feel guilty about getting rid of it. Like, I bought a waffle maker for like $5 from a flea market. It was fine. We realized that we did actually want a waffle maker. Um, Having that, there was a catch on it that was broken, so that when you flipped it over, it didn't. It would either go back. It would either flip back over, or it would kind of go kind of cockeyed, and so you'd lose most of the uh, batter coming out of it, and or it would make it uneven. And we realized that we really did, having that, realized we do want a waffle maker. We do like having waffles, um, but we didn't like the struggle of this particular one, which gave us the justification to go out and spend $25 on a new waffle maker that was brand new out of the box. And so my husband decided to try that out today, and he absolutely loves it. And so we'll be having waffles more often now. But that was our breakfast today. Um, but yeah, the second, the book that I'm currently reading and will be hopefully doing a review in the next day or two is The Tales of Arcana Fortune. And like I said, I started it last night. We went to my husband's daughter's house, and um, we were we had dinner and cake and whatnot. And by that time, I had finished The Anvil's Whisper. I actually finished that one. Um, was it yesterday? I finished it like yesterday afternoon while I was waiting for the mooses to set. Um, so I finished that about 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock last night, just before we went over to her house. And then we got home, and I started in on Arcana Fortune, and I was up until probably 11 o'clock reading that, because I just could not put it down. And it's more in my wheelhouse of things I like to read. It's definitely a fantasy. I guess I would call it a romantasy. So far, there's no spice in it, but she does have a love interest, and there is magic. As a matter of fact, this guy, she Arcana Fortune is an ancestor of Serena, and Serena has spent some time living with her reclusive hermit of an aunt, and Grimm has lived with the fairies, and he they send him on a mission to seek out the book in Serena's collection called The Tales of Arcana Fortune. And so they're looking through the book and they're looking through the library trying to find this book, and they finally come up to the idea of it must be hidden with a cloaking spell. And so uh, they figure out how to find the book. They find it and open it, only to find out that there is a being trapped in the book, and he calls himself Lore. And um, he's on a mission of vengeance, and he's taking it out on Serena. So he curses Serena to live through 7 different fairy tales uh, on 7 different nights. And so each night she has to live through a different fairy tale, and Grimm invokes the right of accompaniment, which means he can accompany her, but it's still hers. The trials are still hers to deal with. He cannot. Uh, he's very limited in how he can help her. So he can't give her the answers to things. So they get the first story they get trapped into is the story of the Ice Queen. The second story they get trapped into is the Rumpelstiltskin, or as they call it, the nameless goblin. And then the third one they get trapped in is Beauty and the Beast, which is, in my opinion, the easiest one she's dealt with so far. And I got through that part, and I haven't gotten to the fourth tale yet. So we'll see what comes next. A little bit more. Turns out I've timed this perfectly well so that this will most likely get done at the same time the Asparagus Hungarian will get done. I've got about 6.5 more minutes on the Asparagus Hungarian. Probably not even another minute on this. And then I'll be draining that and adding the sauce and the hamburger. I cooked up some hamburger and sauteed some onions while I was waiting to go live. But yeah, so that's as far as I've gotten on Arcana Fortune. And how she goes through the trials. He was talking about at one point, Grimm and the Fairy Queen are both talking to Serena, and they tell her that what Lore has basically condemned her to is what she, the Fairy Queen, and her people refer to as the fairy trials. And most of the fairy trials, Grimm mentions that the fairy trials have become many of the people that have gone through the fairy trials have turned those trials into fairy tales that we know and love today. And so, but it's basically the same situation where somebody will come to the fairies and say, hey, I want, I have a wish. And the fairies will say, great, go through the fairy trials, which is, we're going to put you, for 7 nights, we're going to put you in a different story. So you'll have to be placed into a fairy tale each night for 7 nights in a row. And if you succeed the fairy trials, then you get to ask for a wish. And so then they would get their wish if they succeeded. And so that's what's going on here is that, like I said, he put some kind of curse on her. And the curse will kill her if she doesn't complete the fairy trials. And obviously that's not ideal for her. Like, she's like, I do not want to be cursed, and I have done nothing to you to get cursed. And really and truly, she's not. Like, she hasn't done anything to this guy. He's just a jerk. So, like, she's done nothing to deserve being cursed. And so the curse will be lifted automatically. If she succeeds the trial, the curse will be automatically lifted. She doesn't have to wish for the curse to be lifted. It'll just be lifted, but she can wish for something else. And because he's invoked this curse, but because he's not in control of the magic that happens here, as far as like, he can control which trial she gets, but he can't change the magical rules or anything. So it doesn't matter. Like, he didn't tell her she gets a wish. The fairy queen told her she gets a wish. And that's the only reason she knows about it. And he didn't want her to know that she got a wish, that she would get a wish. So that's his kind of loophole around it is, you don't, I'm not going to tell you you get a wish, and then therefore you won't ask me to grant you one. And unbeknownst to, like, because he knows if he knows that if she succeeds the fairy trials and invokes her right for a wish, he has no choice. He has to honor it. He has to grant the wish, no matter what the wish is. And so he just doesn't tell her that she gets the wish. He just tells her that if you want to live, you have to face these trials. And as far as he knows, that's all she knows. But because the fairy queen gets involved and gives her a magical stone, she does know that she can ask for a wish. And she and her partner Grimm both know what the wish is that they're going to ask for. There's a relic that they need to free Grimm, because he is basically in servitude of the 5 ancients, or the 5 old ones. And so, and they're more nature magic. So, if they can survive the trials, not only will she win her life, but Grimm will be able to be free. Yay! That's done. Okay, that can be put on a simmer. Okay, where did... Oh, there they are. I was looking for my pot holders. So, that doesn't look like much has changed. I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know. We're going to go ahead and leave it in for another, I don't know, 17, 18, 3 minutes. Yeah. Leave it in for another 3 minutes and see what happens. But yeah, so far I'm really liking this book, Tales of Arcane of Fortune. I'll have a proper review video on it once I actually finish it and see how it ends. I anticipate that they're going to succeed, but I'm really interested in what the other four fairy tales are that they're going to put her in, and what she's supposed to learn, or what it's supposed to test. Because the first one, um, the Ice Queen, was basically to test her goodness, I guess, of how far would she go to help or protect someone she just met or that she barely knows. And um, then she's just met Grimm, and he's offering accompaniment, and she's like, great. Yeah, like, yeah, I don't really know the guy and everything, but I also don't really want anything to happen to him. So of course I'm gonna go and find him and rescue him because, you know, one, I don't want anything bad to happen to him, and two, I want to get out of this mess and I want to survive. You know, the second one was supposed to test her cleverness, um, and then the third one, being Beauty and the Beast, was just to test her loyalty, like how good would she be about, is she capable of looking beyond the surface level and seeing what's beyond the exterior. So on to the third bottle of water. Yay. Like I said, by the time I get done with that one, I probably won't even want anything to drink. All right, this is done. And we got about 10 minutes left on that. So my goal for this year is to get through the A section of the book, but I'm thinking that instead of, for these live streams, instead of doing only A stuff, because we're limited on what we have. I've baked my way through the almond stuff already. I've done all the almonds. The anchovies I did over the holidays with my grandkids because my grandson really likes those. Did the angel cakes. Did the anise. Those that turned out okay. I don't like this flavor of anise, but now we're into like apples and applesauce, apricots, artichokes, asparagus. We're skipping aspic because if you don't know, aspic is basically the gelatin molds, and there's like tuna aspic and tomato aspic with cream cheese, and like I draw the line at savory jello, and I also don't like stuff in my jello, like even the fruit jello cocktails, I don't like it. So I'm not gonna waste food just for content. Avocados, I like avocados. We haven't gotten to avocado yet, and that goes into bacon. So what I was thinking is instead of cooking my way through just focusing on A's, because like I can do this throughout the year myself with my own family. But I was thinking that since we're so limited on different categories, what I would do is just an A through Z. So next week we'll do something from the B section. We have quite a bit from B that we can kind of choose from. So actually, nobody showed up for this live stream, and that's fine because, like I said, I still get a good meal, and I'm getting ready to call my husband in. But I'm still gonna post this, so you guys will be able to see it. And so comment below which category you want to want me to cook from. We've got bacon, baked Alaska, banana, barley, um, bass, Bavarian cream, beans, beef, beets, beverages, biscuits, blackberry, black bottom pie, blintzes, blueberry, Bombay, bonbon, borscht, Boston brown bread, Boston cream pie, bouillabaisse, bouillon, bran, bread, brioche, broccoli, brownies, Brunswick stew, Brussels sprouts, buttermilk, butters, butterscotch, and then it goes into C. So those are your options of what we can make. So just comment below which category you want to pull that out of. There were two that I skipped because I don't know where to get the main ingredients, and one was bear and one was beaver. We're not. I will discount anybody saying bear or beaver because I don't know where to get the meat. So any of the others that I mentioned, those are fine. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.